Welcome, everyone, to 60 Seconds of Stoicism, your only 60-second podcast that lasts for a half hour. My name is Ryan Lee Mays. I'm your host, and with me is my wife, Melinda.
Hey, good evening, guys.
And we're going to talk about a kind of fun subject today. We're going to have some fun with the subject. It's actually probably kind of difficult for some people, and that's going to be about prioritizing. And we could talk about prioritizing a lot of things like our family time or our work time or things like that. But we're actually going to talk about prioritizing items today. And we're kind of piggybacking on an episode that we had about 3 months ago, or maybe even longer than that, on Give It Away. I think that was one of our first episodes, if not the first.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's very easy to say that. We need to get rid of things. And I wrote a book called The Octot, and it was 8 different activities to do to kind of help you have some more inner peace, a lot of inner growth. It's based on Stoic principles. And one of those things is giving something away each day or getting rid of something each day. And that seemed to be, out of all 8 things, including 800 calories a day, which seems to me would be the most difficult, giving something away every day seemed to be the most difficult struggle people had. And they just had to get rid of something. They're like, what do I give away? What do I get rid of? Meanwhile, I know that there's a sock in your drawer that has a hole in it that you could probably throw out right now.
Or a pair of pants.
Or a pair of pants. Yes, that has been sewn and resewn.
I'm pretty known for that.
Yeah. I know we like to hang on to our favorite things until they absolutely, completely fall apart. But yes, those kind of things. So you can get rid of stuff. But what we kind of want to do is put it in a prioritizing sense, and we're going to base it on Seneca. We're going to talk a little bit about Seneca at the end in a new program that I'm kind of coming out with. I'm starting soon called Seneca 6 that we're going to talk about at the end. But Seneca had a quote that said, "How nice is it to have worn out one's desires and left them behind." Where we've just grown up desiring so much stuff in our life and think that this is the pinnacle of achievement, but we get to a point in our lives where we can look back and say, phew, I'm glad that I did not pursue that. Or those things I thought mattered so much really don't matter anymore. So we actually have an activity for you guys to do tonight. If you have a piece of paper nearby, or you can do it in your head, we're going to come up with 2 lists. And this is similar to the one we did on the previous podcast, but I'm going to put a little twist on it tonight. So we're going to come up with 2 lists. You can number your list 1 through 5 on each one. And if you need to pause the podcast after you hear what the instructions are and do it and then press play again, that's totally fine. So what this list is are the 5 things you feel like you need to survive, your 5 survival items, and then 5 luxuries that you wish you could have in that survival. So I'm going to give you a scenario. You're left alone to your own devices somewhere in a forest. You're by yourself. Now, you get 3 things, okay? Because everybody, if I didn't give you these 3 things, everybody's going to put this as their 1, 2, and 3 of necessities, which is food, clothing, and shelter, okay? So you have those. It might be some lean-to. It might be a cave. I don't know what it is. But you have shelter. You have clothing, you have food, whether it's not the nuts and berries that you're going to find foraging or fishing or whatever it is. You have food. Some farmer drops off a supply of fresh fruit to you every day. Whatever it is, you have food. Now, what are the 5 necessities that you would take with you? These are things that you absolutely have to have in order for you to survive both physically and mentally. So what are those 5 necessities? Now, again, if you need to stop right here and fill that out, that's totally fine. But think about the 5 necessities that you would take with you if you are abandoned in this forest by yourself. And this is going to be a difficult one. I know this was difficult for me because when I really started taking it, I'm like, man, is that a necessity or is that a luxury? Or could it kind of be comorbid and fit in both categories for that? So let's talk about that real quick. So that's my kind of parameter for my way of doing my list. Yours is different. You're thinking more of a city, like let's say first-time apartment.
Yeah, so, sure. College student.
Okay, college student,
starting out.
First-time apartment. So these are how we're going to both look at these. You can come up with your own scenario for this of what your necessities are. So you start off with your number 5, your one in your list here, number 5. we'll count down to number 1. It's not like they're in any particular order of importance, but you being in your apartment, first-time apartment in the city, what's the number 5 thing that you absolutely have to have? Your priority in your list of priorities?
Well, that would probably be utilities. So your water, electricity, AC heating, especially living in Arizona if you're a student. Her first time,
Okay. No, that's fair. I think that's fair. Like, they always say the West wasn't won by cowboys, it was won by air conditioning. So, which is, it's actually true. So I understand utilities for sure. I could see that. For me, I'm in an open air forest, so I probably don't need new utilities on there. Hopefully I can just use my bushcraft skills, which I have 0 of, to make a fire somewhere so I can have my firelight for it. But I actually put companionship as mine because I don't want to be left alone with the thoughts in my head. I think all the time.
Nice.
Whether that is with a person that I love, like you, or even just having a dog.
Yeah.
Or like Snake Eyes off of G.I. Joe, and I just find some wolf that follows me around and loves me. That's fine. I'll have a
Dances
wolf.
with wolves.
Yes,
there you go.
But I gotta have some kind of companionship for me to survive. I think it's really important for my mental health for that.
Yeah.
I need something to talk to, even if it's, I could go Wilson and have an inanimate object like Tom Hanks did, but I want to have somebody to share something with, even if it's talking about the stress of being out there. That's a necessity to me, is companionship.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I don't think it's continual companionship. It could be a neighbor, just somebody that I have access to talk to. And I know Christians will say you could talk to God, yes, but I think having that face-to-face, one-on-one, it kind of goes back to the scripture where God looked down at man and said it's not good for man to be alone. So it's somebody just to be there for you. So very good. Okay, going back to your scenario. First-time apartment, what would be the next thing that you need on your list?
Well, so I guess it's kind of in comparison to your companion, someone to talk to. So for me, it would be a phone, communication. And I guess that's not even really a necessity. Like, you don't have to have a cell phone, but at least a landline or a flip phone, just some way to communicate, for emergency or just keeping in contact with, friends and loved ones.
Very good. So for me, going back to my bushcraft, it would be a place to rest, I think is important for me, for my mental health. Just a place to sit and reflect. You can say, well, you could just sit on the ground and do it. No, an actual place where you can recline, you can think, you can be at comfort for a moment. I watched some of these survival shows where they dig their hut underground, they're trying to survive in Alaska or whatever. And the first thing they do is they make themselves like a bench or a stump or something, because they realize how important it is to have a moment of relaxation. Something that we take for granted in this society, where we don't take a moment to relax. If we're sitting down, it's because we're working on something else. It's not just to sit and have a moment of reflection. So for me, it would be an area to rest or an area of comfort.
Okay.
For that. All right, over to your scenario in your apartment.
For me, it would be the Bible, and that probably should have been my first. But that to me is, for me, it could be a Bible. For someone else, it could be a Bible, but it could be books to read, I feel like that's a necessity because, it's just continuing your knowledge, but also for me, the Bible is just, it's the roadmap for my life,
Very good. I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of cheating on the Bible on this because I didn't put it in my top 5 purposefully because, you'll see in just a second.
Okay.
So, all right. So that's good. A Bible for you. It's also something to help pass the time, read it through, it's a source of deeper understanding. For me, I put self-protection. Now, again, here I am in there, but first-time apartment student, you probably need some protection too. So we know that somebody can come in on us at any time. It's the premeditatio malorum in Stoicism. It's preparing for all things. I don't want to be caught off guard if someone tries to attack me. It's not that I'm promoting guns or anything like that. You decide on your own self-protection, but I would have at least something to where I could feel secure. Again, that goes to the mental aspect of it, the mental health part, knowing that I'm safe and secure. I have a way to defend myself against something. So that would be my next one, self-protection. And again, in my scenario, I'm in the woods. Your scenario, you're in an apartment.
So my next one is toiletries.
Okay.
So hygiene products, your toothbrush and toothpaste and shampoo, conditioner, just soaps,
Very good.
hygiene
Okay.
products.
All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. I would love to hear too, if you guys do this, tell me what your scenario is. Leave it in the comments. Is it stuck on a boat? Is it, on a deserted island somewhere, whatever it is? So I'd like to hear that. My next one is medication. I think medication's important because, especially in this scenario, you could suffer a lot of things while you're out there,
That's true.
bites, bee stings, venomous creatures, that type of thing. So having some kind of medication or a medication box for me. So, okay. Now, how about you?
So my last one would be transportation. And did I say that one? I don't think I did, right?
No.
Transportation. So even then, that's not really a necessity. Like, you don't have to have a car, but at least, having access to a city bus or the light rail, to get to and from work, or, just getting out and socializing.
Yes.
A bike.
That's good. A way to get around, especially if you're in an apartment, you need to go and find a job and, be able to get back and forth through those things. So very good.
Yep.
My last one was a communication device. And I left that very vague. I didn't say cell phone. It could be a ham radio. It could be whatever.
You're on an island.
The reason why, I'm in a forest. So,
that's right.
So I could have a ham radio, you know what I'm saying, where I could talk to somebody. But to me, I'm like, I could get the Bible in many different ways on there. I put it on my list and then I took it off because I'm like, as a necessity, I could get information. I could either get it through this communication device. I could get it from a neighbor that has, a Bible that I could use, something like that. I feel like that you can always find your way back to God somehow. So that would either come through something like a communication device, interaction with another person, writing down, memorize scripture, things like that you could have. So, so I put a communication device. So these are our necessities. So these are the things that we have to have in order for us to continue. We have our shelter, our food, our clothing, but these 5 things. Nowhere in any of these necessities here is anything that's shocking. Like neither one of us put, I need a new BMW.
No.
To go on there. Because we're prioritizing. These are the 5 things that we have to survive in either situation. Whether you're in a forest, a first-time apartment, stuck on a boat, in the trenches in the army, whatever it is, you have to prioritize the things you need. Because they're so scarce and they're hard to come by that you don't have time for those extra luxuries. But then we're arguing on the side of Seneca here. Seneca was a man that lived with luxuries. He had a ton of them. And I think he also realized kind of the ills of having those things. Speaking of looking back on your desires and being so glad that you've outgrown them, I think that's a lot of the stuff he had. I think he really hungered for power. I think he really hungered for prestige. He was also a playwright and a very good one at that. So he wanted the fame of being a playwright and all of those things. And he's looking back on it. He's like, it's really not that important to me. So I want to move into part 2 of this. Part 2 are a magical fairy came down and said, I'm going to grant you 5 luxuries to now go with your 5 necessities.
Okay.
What would your 5 luxuries be? So you guys can write these down again if you want to stop it. Write them down so you have them in your head. But we're going to start with our 5 luxury items. Do you want to go ahead and start with one that you would add to your apartment, first-time apartment?
So home furnishings. Obviously, that's not a necessity, but it would be nice to have a table to sit at.
Luxury, yeah.
A bed to sleep in,
Sure.
and, just all the nice little gadgets that come into your house, first-time house.
Very good. For me, I put a pen and paper because I need to be able to write. I want to write also about, the condition of being where I'm at, but it's also a way, like I said, to write down those memory verses from the Bible. It's a way to write down journaling for prayer. It's a way to write down things I overcome and leave something in posterity for the people who find it maybe down the road. So pen and paper. Do I need it? No. Is it important? Yes. It's something I would have. It's a luxury that I would have. Mm-hmm. All right. What's the next one on your list?
Travel experiences. So that's something that, I didn't really get to have much in my life until later in my adult years. But even then, I never really got to travel as much as I'd like to say I would have, liked to gone to some other countries.
Sure.
But, so travel experiences would be nice,
Okay. Fair enough. And I know we've talked about some plans for those things in the future coming up. So that's good. I think that's a very good one. Let's see here. I put a vehicle. So it's a luxury. A vehicle is a luxury. I can walk. Walking is very good. We know walking is one of the biggest things that is promoted by the Stoics for health and well-being. But to be able to just get around a little bit, a bicycle or motorcycle or I don't know, even a car, whatever it is, just some place to get around because then that allows your life to be so much easier. It's a luxury, but for most people, it's become a necessity. It's the way we take care of our families. It's how we get to work. It's how we get to the hospital if you need, to go. So to me, it's a luxury, but also something I would really want to have. So a vehicle is my next one.
So that was mine too. That was another one for me. It would be a car. The first one, it was like some sort of transportation, whether it was a bike but if it was a luxury thing, to have my own car so that, and then also it transfers into going, and traveling, using that car to do some travels and stuff.
Now, bushcraft, I would take that car, kick out the back seat, find a bed inside of it. Now I have a mobile home and I've just upgraded my life quite a bit.
That sounds fun.
I'm out there in the forest. So
I'll be there right there with you.
Yes. Which goes to my next item that I could put in that mobile home that I would create out of my vehicle, which is a pillow and a bed.
Yeah.
Luxury items. They're not necessary. You can sleep on the ground. You probably could, like I said, bushcraft some kind of a pillow out of leaves. But I think also having just that place of comfort at the end of the night to rest, to get good quality sleep that gives you all that energy the next day. That's a good one for me. All right. Next one for you.
Internet services.
Okay.
So just, that's a luxury. Having the internet to, watch TV, for YouTube, whatever.
Very good. No, that's great. I agree. I'm coming to that. My number 2 is Bible and books. So, if I don't have to record that and I don't have to get it over the ham radio and I don't have to tune into radio broadcast of TBN, however I need to do it, I'd rather just have the Bible. It makes it so much easier. But also have all my other books too that would help pass the time and help me gain my knowledge and wisdom that, is so important from the Stoics' point of view. And, I think that's important to have. So, was that your last one?
My last one was the cell phone. And so I know it's kind of like the same one as the first one. The first one would at least be a landline, but the second one for luxury would be a cell phone because it does all these wonderful things on it that I don't need, but I think the only thing I really do out of my cell phone is take pictures and listen to music.
Okay, very good. Yeah, my last one was computer with internet for it. So we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now with this podcast. Wouldn't be able to get a lot of the information that we have. I could probably be perfectly happy in a bushcraft house if I could watch a YouTube video on how to make one. That's right there telling me how to do it. So it's a luxury. We see it as a necessity. It's a luxury, but it's become a necessity in our lives because of what it does for us. And it's not a bad thing. Again, taking this list of those 5 things, nowhere on there were we asking for diamond rings, private jets, sports cars. We just wanted a place where we could sleep or a vehicle to get us to and fro. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of Stoicism. It's prioritizing those things where even our luxury items are not luxury items to most people. It's something that we can use for a necessary goal without glitz and glamour and overprice and putting our families in a situation where they're not getting their basic needs met because we have to pay some exorbitant bill for some luxury thing. It's not an area of stress that causes us to worry nonstop because work is so overwhelming we can't handle it. It's none of those things. It's taking some simple luxury items and saying, can I put that in my life and make it better? The Stoics were not against those things. They weren't. Seneca was definitely not against those things. But it was taking the priority off of those things. Mm-hmm. to where that is the most important. I'd rather have the internet than have a companion to talk to. Or I'd rather have this fancy vehicle than go out for a walk that's better for my health. You know, so when we put these priorities together and we make a list of them, we already have these things in our lives. Nothing on this list is something outside of what we already have within our household.
Yeah.
If you and I had to take everything off this list and take it with us right now, we would have it all. We'd have everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a gut check of why are we trying to reach for more things? Why are we pushing ourselves? Do you think it's just a human condition? It's like this is what we are in American society? We just have to have more because we see it, we feel it, we hear it, and it's around us all the time?
It's around us all the time, and it's what a majority of, YouTubers do that, our kids watch or we watch. Even then, sometimes it's, it's all these gadgets that they're trying, and you should have this, or you should have that, or, even things that we collect, collectors items, we've got some of those here. We've talked about, collecting things, and so even that's become a thing as well. But yeah, whether it's for something that we'd like to hold on to just because it's nostalgic, or it's something that we want to keep for retirement and cash in later. Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree. There is a guy I watch, his channel's called Freaking Reviews. It's been around forever. He does them all the time. He gets a lot of items that have gotten a lot of buzz, and he tries them out on a show, and 9 times out of 10, he tells them they're horrible. He's like, don't buy this thing. It's a waste of money. But when we see it, it looks like the shiny new object. Like, oh, that is going to make my life so much better if I get that. 1995, I should have had it yesterday. That kind of thing. And then we get it, and it's just a piece of junk. So what I want to do today is I'm going to issue a challenge. We're going to talk about the Seneca 6 here pretty soon, but I want to issue a challenge, the 5x5x5 challenge. Not the 5x5. We just went to Slim Chickens this weekend, my new favorite restaurant, Southern Chicken.
I love it.
They have a thing called 5x5 where it's 5 wings and 5 tenders and whatever.
5 tenders,
ridiculous. Yeah. So talk about an overindulgence.
Southern food, so
yes,
good.
Very, very good. I highly recommend. But this is the 5x5x5. So what this is examine your household. Take a minute. Think of everything that's in your kitchen, everything that's in your living room, your bedrooms. Think of everything that's hiding in the garage. Is there anything in your house that you have not touched in 5 years? Think about it. We can answer that. Sure.
There's probably stuff inside the house we haven't touched for 5 years. But yeah, definitely. I think if you went in my garage, you would think that I was a hoarder.
Yes.
But man, it's just, so it's a mixture of things that you had before we met, things that I had before we met. My mom came along, has moved in. My daughter moved out, moved back in. And it's just things that we've held on to. And I'm like, other than maybe some important papers in there or pictures, everything else can just go to the trash. And we're actually going to do that.
Yep. So what we're going to do is anything that we have not touched in 5 years, we're throwing out.
We're going to throw it away.
And we're going to do it without the kids.
Yep.
Because they're going to be like, I want that doll. That was my... I'm sorry, guys. We have to prioritize.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not going to throw out any pictures. We're not going to throw out any documents that are important to our family or to our history. We're not going to throw away any of those things. Those are important. You archive those are history. That's where you learn about your family. Mm-hmm. The old bag of sweaters that we're never wearing again, that's getting thrown. It's going to get donated. It's either donated or given away to somebody.
It's toys, it's videos, it's DVDs, it's clothing. I don't know. I don't even know what's in there.
Yeah.
It's been, 7 years that we've been here.
Now, once we do the first 5, remember it's 5x5x5, then we go to our second question. Is there anything in here we haven't used in 5 months?
In the house?
Yeah, in the house, in the garage, anywhere, where we're going to ask ourselves that question.
There's probably, I would say, the main area is the kitchen. There are some gadgets in there that we thought we were going to use, and this will make our life easier. I mean, we probably haven't touched the waffle maker. We haven't touched the griddle.
In 5 months? Yeah.
Some utensils, like, I don't know. There's just so much. Like, I don't understand how the cabinets are just spilling out of things. And I'm like, why do we have
got
this
gadgets
stuff?
and gizmos aplenty. We are the Ariel of families.
No kidding.
Things that I don't even know. Like, if you showed me, I'd be like, I can't tell you what that thing does. I don't know. It could either chop vegetables or it's some kind of home defense.
And my mom has contributed to that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
She'll come in the door like, look at this new thing I found at Goodwill. You know, it was only $2. We're like, Mom, we're not going to use that.
Yes.
I promise. Oh, the juicer. She was going to do juicing, and I don't think she's used it once or twice.
Yeah, and I got plenty in there myself that I've done that I'm just like, what is this
Oh
thing?
my goodness.
I swear we have something in there that you use to iron shirts. That's in our kitchen. Like, I've no idea what it's for. So those kind of things we can throw out. We can purge. We haven't touched those things in 5 months. Now here comes where all the gasps are going to happen right now in the last 5. If you haven't used it in the last 5 weeks, throw it out.
Yep.
Well, no. Now I'm not talking about your Christmas decorations. Obviously, you're not using those in the last 5 weeks. But think about it. Truly think about it. Is this important? Is this so important to me that I haven't used it in a month and a half or a month and a week?
I'm looking at a box right now that has leftover utensils, napkins, and plates and cups from Angie's Quinceañera.
A month ago.
They were like, we paid so much money for that, and we got to use it somehow. We haven't even used them yet.
So we are going to donate those to somebody.
We're going to donate.
Yes, give them to somebody. If you can donate, please do that first. If not, and it's just trash, throw it out. But you can get yourself down to a point where everything you have has a purpose.
Yeah.
Everything you have has a purpose. Again, I'm not talking about the pictures you have hanging on your walls or decorations. It has a purpose already. But the things that you don't touch, you don't use, you don't think about, let those go. Because when you do, you release a heaviness that's on you, that you feel. We feel that sometimes. We look around, like when we go in our garage, we're like, we have so much stuff. I don't even want to be out here. I want to be back inside.
I think if we had a yard sale, we would probably make a couple $1,000s.
Oh, easily. Easily on everything that's in there. So.
That's money in the savings account.
Yes. So I want to talk just real briefly before we get into Seneca 6 here on simplifying ourselves. First of all, our goal as Christian students of Stoicism, as Stoic thinkers, is to simplify our wants. What do we want? I want my necessities to be done. And if there's any wants that I want after that, I want them to be simple enough that they fit within my necessities. That should be the goal for that. We need to stop thinking of a more mentality and enough mentality, where we stop arguing over, oh, I want more, to, oh, I have enough already. I don't want any more.
Yeah.
You know, and if that does, that helps to clear and purify our life. And then I want to really think on our past desires that we've had, the things that we've wanted so bad in life, and we either got them and they turned out to be disappointments, or we didn't get them and we're so glad that we didn't. It was things that we strive for that we look back and we say, man, it was just a waste of time. So I'm not going to do that again with the next thing. You know, I think my dad was very good at that. He had a very stoic mind for not being a student of Stoicism, to where when I would say, oh, I want this, he'd be like, you don't need that. He would just basically tell me, you don't need that. And I'd be like, why? I really want this. Yeah, but those things they never work. It's going to be a waste of time. And 9 times out of 10, he was right, because he probably lived that. So he could tell me that. But reflect on the past things that you thought you just needed in life and you no longer do. And then use that reflection to use the 5x5x5 and start to whittle down your living area, the things that you have. I'm going to go to my desk this week at work, and I'm going to do that. Because I have stuff everywhere and stuff that I love. I have a whole Star Wars collection on my desk of only items that people gave me throughout the years. And I love it. It's a shrine. It's beautiful. I can probably clean it up.
Okay, Miss Joellen, if you're listening to this podcast, can you please let me know if he does it within a week?
Now I have to do it. So, yes. I will definitely
She's gonna tell me. His boss is gonna tell me.
I will remove some items. We'll clean things up and, yes. But, so yeah, we gotta definitely put it into practice.
Yes.
So I want to talk about Seneca himself. We're going to shift just a little bit here and really want to talk about health for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I created this program called the Octod. It's 8 challenges over 8 days. It is very difficult. I would say, without exaggeration, 90% of the people that have tried it have not been able to successfully do it because it's very hard. It requires things like 800 calories a day, 8 things to give away, 8 acts of kindness, things like that, where people are just like, I want to do this so bad. I might be able to do 1 or 2 of these things, but I can't consistently do it for 8. Fair enough. Let's focus just on the health part of this then. And let's take some advice from Seneca himself. 6 things that we're going to do, and it's not over 6 days like the Octod is. These are 6 things that we're going to do perpetually in our lives. For the first 3 things is your journaling, which should be a must in everybody's life every single day. Journaling. Your 8 minutes, or 8 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it can be whatever you want on this one, of reading and gaining wisdom. I think that's super, super important. And then 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes of meditation every day. So those 3 things, you have to have those. You have to have those 3 things. Then we're going to talk about the 3 other things which are health related, which is the calorie hill, which I'm going to talk about right now. That'll be my last thing, the calorie hill. The 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes of exercise, but done in an interval training way. It has to be done in interval training where you are hitting things fast and quick with minimum rest in between. This is what Seneca recommended. He said, get to those exercises that quickly allow you to return to matters of the mind. So just go in there and quickly do that. Knock that out. And then the last thing is our 6 to 15 minutes of wisdom every day, where we're learning from other people. And specifically in the realm of health, but you could do it in whatever area you wanted. So those are the 6 things we're going to focus on. I'm going to probably do a podcast on it just to kind of talk about it in a little bit more depth for it. But we're going to start it this week. And what the calorie hill is, if you are looking to lose weight, which seems like 8 out of 10 people are now to some point, what the calorie hill is literally thinking about walking up one side of the hill and walking down the next. You take your allotted calories to where you think you want to be at your day-to-day life. So for an adult male, it's usually about 2,500 calories, depending on the size and physical activity of the person. For mine, I'm a bigger person. It's usually higher calories, but I want to be at 2,500. So 2,500 goes smack dab in the week on Wednesday. For a female participant in this program, it could be 2,000 calories. It could be 1,800, which is usually around recommended. That's in your Wednesday. Now, on the days that surround Wednesday, which would be Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to reduce your calories by 200. So I'm going to go from my 2,500 calories down to 2,300. Now, the 2 days that surround that, which would be Monday and Friday, I'm going to reduce my calories down again 200. So that takes me down to 2,100 calories on those days. And then Saturday and Sunday are your lowest days, which are those are going to be reduced by 200 calories again. Which 1,900 calories is plenty to get you by. 800 calories you can survive on through the program. 1,900 calories, we're talking twice that plus 300 more. So that's enough to get you through. What's that doing is that is throwing your body in a constant confusion. And I think that's what Seneca did a lot. It's the way he would talk about fasting and eating for short periods of time and not eating for short periods of time, and really was throwing his body out of whack so it never got used to one thing and said, okay, we're in starvation mode, abandon ship, and then you stop losing weight. You stop feeling healthy. If we're constantly going up the hill and coming down the hill and going up the hill and coming down the hill, we're confusing our body all the time. It's not an out there program, zigzag dieting, as a lot of people call it. Mine's a little bit different because it is like walking up a hill. Sunday, Monday a little bit more, Tuesday a little bit more, Wednesday the most, and then a little less on Thursday, a little less on Friday, a little less on Saturday. And it allows your body to kind of have a gradual gain and loss through all of that. We're starting the program tomorrow. It is something that I am not going to say I want to do for 8 days. This is something I want to try to do for as long as I can. And I think my wife's going to work with that too a little bit, and kind of give us her results. But we might throw in a Seneca 6 podcast every now and then just to kind of tell you how things are going. But if it's something that you've wanted to try the Octod but you failed on because it's extremely hard, that's okay. Seneca 6 is much easier to do to get through that. So we're going to focus on those things and kind of give you updates as those go. All right. That is our podcast for this week. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I think that covers it.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have been great. Thank you for listening and subscribing. Our numbers have been going up each week, and we're very, very grateful for that. So thank you guys. Thank you for recommending this to other people as well. We are all just students of this life. I don't care if you call yourself a Christian, a Stoic, or an existentialist. You are all trying to figure out this life by doing the best thing. And we appreciate everybody that tunes in and just tries to be a better person for the people around them.
For those of you that might be new to the podcast, and I know my husband has mentioned the Octod book, you can find that on Amazon. So
yeah, you can go to Amazon, just look up the Octod. You can go to theoctod.com. There's a link on there as well. There's also a link to the podcast on there as well. So, all right, thank you guys. So until next time, everybody, take care. Thanks again for listening. And until we see you next time, Semper Studiosus. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.